Everyone thought leaving television would be the biggest mistake of Njugush's career. At the time, he was already one of Kenya's most recognizable comedians. Millions watched him every week, his popularity was growing rapidly, and television offered something every entertainer wanted: stability. Walking away from all of that seemed almost impossible to understand. But years later, that single decision would completely change not only his own career, but also the future of digital content creation in Kenya. The real question isn't how Njugush became famous. It's why he willingly walked away from the platform that made him famous in the first place. Before he became a household name, Timothy Komani, better known as Njugush, was simply a young man with a passion for acting and storytelling. Like many creatives, he dreamed of making people laugh, but the entertainment industry offered very few opportunities. Everything changed when he joined the Real House Helps of Kawangware. His unique style of comedy quickly made him one of the show's standout characters, and before long, audiences across Kenya knew exactly who Njugush was. To most people, this looked like the perfect ending. Television had given him fame, financial stability, and national recognition. But behind the scenes, Njugush was beginning to see something that many people hadn't noticed. The internet was changing the entertainment industry. YouTube, Facebook, and other social media platforms were allowing creators to reach millions of people without depending on television networks. While many entertainers still viewed social media as a place to promote their television careers, Njugush saw something much bigger. He saw freedom. He saw ownership. Leaving television wasn't simply about changing jobs. It meant giving up guaranteed exposure for an uncertain future. There was no promise that audiences would follow him online. There was no guarantee that creating independent content would generate enough income to support his family. It was a risk that could have ended his career. But instead of waiting for opportunities, Njugush decided to build his own. Together with his wife, Celestine Dinda, he began creating original comedy skits for social media. They wrote their own stories, produced their own videos, controlled their own schedules, and most importantly, owned every piece of content they created. At first, nobody knew whether this experiment would succeed. But something remarkable happened. The audience followed them. Their videos began reaching millions of viewers across East Africa. Brand partnerships followed. YouTube became another source of income. Live comedy shows sold out. International tours became possible. What once looked like an impossible gamble was slowly becoming one of the smartest business decisions in Kenyan entertainment. Looking back, the pattern becomes impossible to ignore. Television gave Njugush visibility, but digital platforms gave him independence. Instead of depending on someone else's platform, he built a platform of his own. Instead of asking for opportunities, he created opportunities, not just for himself, but for the people around him. Today, many of Kenya's biggest creators are following a path that once seemed too risky to attempt. Independent production, direct audience relationships, digital monetization, and complete ownership have become the new blueprint for success. Whether they realize it or not, creators like Njugush helped prove that there was another way to build a career in entertainment. And maybe that's the real lesson hidden inside his story. Success isn't always about climbing higher within an existing system. Sometimes, the biggest breakthrough comes from having the courage to leave that system behind and build your own. While everyone else was chasing television, Njugush was quietly preparing for the future. He didn't just change platforms. He changed the rules. Today, millions know Njugush as one of Africa's biggest digital creators. But his greatest achievement may not be the laughs he created. It may be proving that true success doesn't come from borrowing someone else's audience. It comes from building something that belongs to you. This has been Vanguard Chronicles. Subscribe for more investigative documentaries uncovering the hidden stories behind Africa's biggest creators, entrepreneurs, businesses, and media empires.